All right, welcome everybody. This is the world record analysis for the very first sub 50 in Cost of Quest 2 any% that I achieved yesterday. So I'm going to be going over every single thing that I do in the run to help save little milliseconds here or there, and then obviously the bigger stuff. So this isn't necessarily a tutorial video, but it is a very good video for everything. I'm going to try to make this as in-depth as possible, full analysis of everything I do. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first part of the run is not anything too interesting. I will, I guess, point out a couple things. I use a controller. Right here's my controller. You can see the input display in the top left. So this first world record with input display since, I think, MIFA back in like 2019, 2020. So been a while for that, but it should be nice for kind of explaining some stuff. There is, yeah, there's not a whole lot to explain here at the start. I would like to point out with Corvus here, I'll kind of go back for a moment. So this first hit here, you see me mashing Y just to get the hit out as fast as possible, because you're gonna, it doesn't matter if you get it or not. You just want to get that first hit out. And then on the next three, you want to make sure you don't get any amazings, because that animation's longer. And you want to make sure that you hit him as early as possible. So, of course, I get an amazing here, but you want to just get it as early of a hit as possible. Same with the blocks, too. You can get that a little bit earlier. So, I mean, you save frames here and there, but it really does add up throughout a lot of the run, especially this early portion. But yeah, you see me block as early as possible. And then this one, because you don't need to block here, this is just to get your special meter up. I don't block, because not blocking is a little bit faster than blocking. And now we're doing the Corvus fight. Not a whole lot to explain there. I also like to point out, every single time I'm in like a black screen, I'm always holding the direction I'm going to start going in. So you can kind of see that every single time I'm holding where I'm going to go before I start going. So you saw it there as well. Yeah, this run did not get the fast cycle, so I won't bother going over that. But again, this is a lot of the same, where the earlier you hit, the better you are. And you can see here, if I'm mashing B with the candy corn text, because it's a little bit faster. It saves like 0.2, 0.3 every time you do it, and you block with candy corn like 5 times. And then with the fast cycle, if you get hit by these guys, if Superhero gets hit by these guys 3 times before this guy is left with like 40 health or whatever it is, then you'll be able to use your special, and then that'll skip the last turn. So it saves about 10 seconds, which is why my goal's a 228, but I believe I got a 239 here. Very solid early game from me. I say early game, but really the first 2 splits. So I get hit here. I've already been hit once, but unfortunately, no fast cycle. So just gonna run through it as quick as I can. My water go. You also notice I didn't block anywhere there, because you don't need to. It's also faster to not block. And so again, after this, I'm holding up left already. I've Tadamani. You want to take this line here. All my lines are always very specific. And like, so I go underneath this little tree root, whatever this thing is here. I go under it right here. And then run over here. You want to kind of hit the side of this right here. And then just kind of almost like you're going to hit the nose of this guy, just to keep a better line. And then you'll get that one. And then you just run straight through, continue. Go to this guy. And then you kind of have to go below this guy. So you hit this guy, and you're just going to keep following it around. And then here, this is kind of where you want to aim for, right around where I'm at. Because there's a little trigger zone for Monty here, but you want to make sure that that you're as far left of this trigger zone as possible, just so you have a shorter line to go over here. And then, yeah, there's another, there's an animation cancel. It doesn't really mean anything, but you move up a tiny bit closer. And then for all the houses here, you see me mashing A well before I get to it, just because there's a little bit of a range on these doors. So you want to hit the outside of the range just to get it as quick as possible. Oh, this is a cool little strat. So yeah, you can normally you'll fall, you'll land here, and then you'll open the chest. But it's actually possible to open the chest as you're falling, which is what I do here. You essentially want to aim for the corner right here, and then you get to do that without falling, or without waiting after falling. And this little section's kind of awkward here because there's a little line here of like an invisible wall that you want to try to avoid. So I usually try to err on being higher up when I hit this crocodile or alligator. Usually I try to aim around here, but just because you avoid the invisible wall. And then these lines are also very specific. So I know this branch is here, cut just around it. Again, you want to kind of stay on the left side of this area, and then just a gradual curve, and a hard turn. Talk to this girl. And this guy's kind of weird. You have to get right in his face to be able to honk at him. Yeah, there's an animation cancel there. I accidentally honked one extra time, but instead of waiting the whole animation, I canceled it, and then I got to move early. Come over here. And another animation cancel, because I hit B too many times on accident. We run over here to this guy, and then we start the band. And now you do need to honk here. It's kind of weird how much you need to honk, but you need to honk at least towards the end. Doesn't really matter, but get through this a little bit. Yeah, you see, I already start mashing A there, just to get ready for that text, just so I can start mashing as soon as possible. And then, yeah, so I kind of cram myself into this corner here, and I'm just holding upright. I guess now I'm down, but yeah, so now I'm just kind of holding into the door so I can hopefully just get in as quick as possible. And these are specific lines. If you hug the wall too much, there's a little lip here on the door. You want to make sure you don't get caught on that. So I take a little bit wider of a line and then like cut back in. Same for this door up here. It's the same little lip. So I kind of go around a little bit more and then cut into the doorway. And you want to aim to open this chest as close to this little corner here as possible. And then here you kind of aim it to fall off and over. Because you don't really have a whole lot of movement midair, but you get a little bit of momentum. And you fall onto that ledge, fall all the way down. And then as I'm falling, you can see I've started to turn around. So here, and then yeah, I'm starting to turn around and face the direction I actually want to be in. And then go into the Jazz Club. And then here you have to honk one time. You have to honk at least once, otherwise Harmonious Mink gets upset. So I'll go ahead and skip through. There's nothing you can do to speed this up. There you go. And so then in this loading screen here, you can see I'm already starting to mash. Because you can actually start mashing through the text before you actually can see the text. So take a nice line, I go on the above part of this fountain, go down, cut through here, and then talk to Shady. And then it's just down and then it's over. Yeah, very quick. I'm meaning to turn the volume down, but yeah, very quick. Just down, and then you hit over. As soon as you're on the next page, just spam A, move right, spam A, and switch immediately back to Clown. Cut this corner. You know you're on a good cycle if the banana kid didn't get in your way. If you're on a bad cycle, he'll either be too far out of the way, so he'll be further, or he'll be in the way directly. This guy, I avoided him entirely, so I'm on a good cycle. You kind of just hold down and go talk to this guy. Bub. Skip this. Nothing you can do to speed this up. And then here, once you know you're at the end, I start mashing A to skip throughout the text. And then come down here, and this is where I do another animation cancel, so you don't get stuck in the animation. So you hit B and then X, so B to blow the leaves away, X to cancel that animation. So then you're ready to just run right through. And this is where I'm looking for the cycle. I know I'm on a good cycle if the snail is moving to the right side. If he's moving back to the left, I'm on a bad cycle. I'm gonna have to curve around and open the chest from the right. But because I'm on a good cycle here, I'm gonna just hide on the left side and immediately go open the chest. I don't have to wait at all. And then if you're on a decently good cycle where you got it on the left side, the snail will have turned around already and will catch you. If you're on a really good cycle like I am on this run, then the snail will not have turned yet. So you just want to instantly hold right and just hit the snail. So then right here, I know I have my special, so I gotta go move 2 to the right to run from the fight. And we'll just skip out on the snail. Yeah, master the text. I was doing that before I could even see myself, and then turn around and go in the time portal. It's more Corvus, very similar to the first fight. So you're gonna want to make sure you don't get any amazings, and you want to attack as early as you can. And that's the end of the combo split. This is where I would normally split. Ready to fade out. And then again, start holding right. Be as quick as possible. And this is where you switch your costume. So it's all in a nice little line here. So it's very easy to remember. Pumpkin, robot, pterodactyl. So I just go right down the line. So that's going to be our party composition for the entirety of Bayou. We'll switch it up a little bit in French Quarter, but that's just what we're going to do here. And this Bayou was not too bad. I think this was like around a 6-minute time. I'll also explain how I go through all these fights, because I know the fastest way to get through all of them in pretty much every scenario. So here, what you're going to want to do is right at the start, we don't have any specials. We're going to just attack this guy with Pumpkin. No need to do any amazings because he's not going to die anyway. So then we use Suckums on Reynold to get that special meter built up. You're going to be seeing me do a lot of whoops hits as well, just because a lot of times they're not necessary. Because like I did less damage with the whoops, and I saved myself a little bit of animation time, and I didn't need that extra damage. So this one I know how much damage that Pumpkin and Robot can do max, so I know that them two alone is not going to be enough to take out this combatant. So I'm going to do a regular attack, normal attack, and then the follow-up attack here. And then I'll get a whoops on Robot. Just to get him to do some damage. And then I should be able to just do one more attack here, yeah, with Pterodactyl. So that's about the fastest way you can do it. No Ghost Munch here yet, but we'll get it eventually. The next fight, exact same thing, except now we don't have Suckums. So now we've got to do pretty much the same strat, except instead of using Suckums, obviously we're going to just use the Pumpkin special there. Not great. You want to save your specials as much as possible. Just because using one of your 2 specials on the second fight is not great. Because once you've used your special, you're not going to get enough time to use it again for the rest of Bayou. So you really want to make sure you're using it at a good time. This is a very good fight here. Cleaned up everything. Got Ghost Munch. Did good damage with Pumpkin, so no need to attack with Robot. Then we'll come down here, go to that house, and then house number 3. There's 7 in this area that you have to fight. Okay, this was not amazing either, but I'll use Suckums here on Pumpkin because he does the most damage. If he maxes out, he could take out one of the combatants on his own. Unfortunately, I missed the amazing, so not going to be able to do that. But we'll get this guy down to like 5 health or something, less than that. 1 health. So if I got that first amazing, I would have done enough damage. It's a little bit unfortunate, but do a whoops there just to clean it up. If I get an amazing hit here, and then either regular amazing, yeah. So now, I know Pumpkin can do 57 damage if he gets 2 amazing. So I know it's possible for him to one-shot this guy. I don't remember if I do. So I don't, and because I know that because I missed that amazing, there's no point with the combo, so I just get a whoops. And then another whoops there. Not an amazing fight. You know, you want to be probably 30 seconds faster than this right here, but it's fine. Then onto this fight. Again, not good RNG at all. But we're going to go ahead and use the Pumpkin or the Robot special. So Robot with nubbins. I've seen some people try to attack in this scenario where you're using the Robot special. I've seen some people try to attack this guy because the way that robot special works, and most specials in the game, whoever you're targeting is what you're going to do the most damage on. So for robot, you think, oh yeah, I'll do this guy as the most health, the second guy. Oh, I'll use him to attack I'll attack him with the special because he has the most health. You don't actually want to do that because if you attack this guy, or I guess this guy too, but you're already targeted on this guy, then you'll kill this guy, and then this guy will be low enough that you can kill with Pterodactyl. If you focus this guy, then you can only choose to take out one of these three, because they won't do enough damage to kill anybody, and then you'll have just one turn left to take out somebody else. So you want to focus on this guy. Yeah, we use Nubbins here. Use the special. He'll be dead. This guy will be low. We'll finish him off here. And then the fire won't be enough to finish this guy off, obviously. But the fire here will allow us to be able to one-shot him with Pumpkin. So it's not always the best to focus the guy with the most health. Sometimes it's more tactical to, go after somebody with less health. So now we're rocking with no specials. We've got Succums right now, so I'll probably use that here, depending on what the fight is. Perfect. This is great. The single enemy. So you need some amazings here. If I remember correctly, I don't end up getting them. I think I messed this up. But if you get enough amazings here, you can take this guy out in just one turn. Okay, it looks like I should be fine. So no need for him to attack back. Yeah, very good. Yeah, so you can just barely do 150 health, and we have Ghost Munch. So no walk of shame here. We're doing fine. Go get these houses. I'll just skip through. And then this is what you want to see. So you'll attack this guy, and then I'm going to use Succums on Robot for two reasons. One, because he'll be able to take this guy out by himself, and then that'll leave Pterodactyl to clean up this guy. But also, his special meter's pretty low right now. That's what I'm a little bit concerned about, is that his special meter's not doing great. So I want to try to get that up as much as possible, because you want to have all three of these built up before the French Quarter. And so this is our second to last fight in Bayou. Talk to the dupe kid. We give up that card, and then we'll run over to the last house. Oh, I'd also like to point out, sometimes it can be safer to take this route up here, but there's not really a point. It's also a little bit slower, because if you take the slower route, this crony will always be in about the same spot. He'll always be about here, as long as you didn't waste too much time in the overworld. But if you're fast, he'll always be in this position. So then you can just take this line, you can go down the road, and then just go kind of loop around the outside of this light pole, and then go off to the last fight. So I'd recommend going down. And then on to the last fight. We're hoping we can get a good one here. And very fortunately, that's a very good fight. So we swap over here. Doesn't really matter. We could have swapped with Robot too. We just want to make sure Robot's the one attacking this guy. His special's low, so that's not great. But you don't necessarily need all three of your specials going into the first fight. You need two of them. Especially if you can get this one built up in that first fight. And then finish that guy off. Get a 607. Very solid. It's very hard to get under a 6-minute time. Okay, and so now I also swapped. We've got Superhero instead of Pterodactyl. And that's because now there's going to be magic enemies in French Quarter. The enemy pool is a little bit different. But the strategy is pretty much always the same. So in this first fight, I don't remember what I get. Okay, yeah, this is perfect. So optimally, let me pause. Optimally, you would use Pumpkin's special, which will cut everybody's health in half. You would do a whoops attack on this middle guy for Robot, and then you would do you'd use Superhero special also on the middle guy, and then everybody would be dead. I'm gonna do it a little bit differently here because I need this special built up, but pretty much the same. So instead of getting the whoops hit on this guy with Robot, I'm gonna actually use both attacks. I think I'm a little bit short if I remember still. Yeah. So not amazing, not really what you want to see. But yeah, you're able to take everybody out there. So now I'm gonna remember what I do. I'm not really in this position a whole lot. I think I just attack. I don't think I use my special at the start. But you see this magic enemy, and that is always target number 1. Doesn't matter. Okay, I do use Stuckums. It doesn't matter what the fight layout is. You 100% of the time want to focus on the magic enemy. Because if they're left alive with, you know, and then when they go to attack, then they can end up kind of screwing you over by healing somebody, and that'll slow you down a lot. Also, in a place like Lab, they can be kind of painful just because you have the potential to get tragic magic and some bad stuff, and you could die maybe. So here, we're gonna focus on this guy because this guy's low, and then we should be able to get close to taking this guy out. If not, Superhero can clean him up. Depends on if I get amazings here. I do not. So yeah, Superhero clean this up. Right now we're a little bit low on specials, but should be fine because the third fight's usually kind of slow. I would like to have saved Suckums for the third fight, just because we don't have anything to speed this fight up. So normally Suckums would be nice to have help speed it up, but we're just gonna kind of roll with it because I had to use it in the previous fight. So yeah, we see that magic enemy. We're going to focus that no matter what. And at this point, I know I'd rather have Superhero clean it up, but I know he has a little bit too much health for Superhero to take out, so I'll use the whoops attack on Robot to help clean that up a little bit. It's not really a fight you want to be seeing here. It's kind of a slow fight, but it kind of is what it is, you know. So we're gonna focus this Crony Combatant just because it's a little bit quicker to take him out. Again, we're probably gonna do another whoops attack here. Yep, just to kind of let Superhero get more hits in. Because if I had done a full hit with Robot, then Superhero would have only gotten the first hit, would not have gotten the combo hit. And you build up your special meter for both. So you want to kind of focus on that when you're going through these fights. Still, this is not going to be a bad French Quarter, even with this kind of slow fight here. This fight kind of had to be slow just because of special meter stuff. I think I barely get this. I don't really remember what happened. Oh no, I think he gets hit here. That's what happens. Yeah. So I got super lucky there. I would not have had my special ready. That would have really messed up the Chrono fight. And we finish it off and we're good to go. So we'll be level 4 here now. And then we'll go run up here. And so because of my costume layout, a lot of people I see like to try to switch it up in French Quarter. I just leave my costumes the same. So keep it Pumpkin, Robot, and Superhero throughout the entirety of French Quarter. Some people mix it up. I keep it the same because then at this point of the run, you switch to Pterodactyl to blow these leaves away. And then you get to switch to Pumpkin. You don't have to worry about changing the rest of your party. Another thing I will note is that when you're blowing these leaves away, there's a little bit of downtime. Because like you can't move past the leaves. But pausing also doesn't like stop the leaves from going away. So what I'm going to do here is while I'm waiting for these leaves to go away, I'll swap to Pumpkin. I mess it up. I've never done that before. Forgot that was this run. But normally, you know, while you're waiting for the leaves to disappear, you switch to your costume and you don't end up wasting any time by switching. So it's just a little bit of task overlap. Also kind of a new strat. Normally we would buy the Superhero upgrade right now, but because we found out you don't actually need, it's not faster for Chrono, it's not really faster for Bojum either. We've now pushed it off all the way to downtown when you'd buy Sour Dumps. And it saves like 2-3 seconds. So it's not actually that big of a time save, but you know, it's free time save, so you might as well. So my 351 did end up buying the Superhero upgrade, so that's a little bit misguided of a gold there, but it is what it is. So now, because I have my costume set up like this, there's no need to change anything for Chrono. My cards are already ready because you never mess with your cards the whole time. And then I also see people taking very wide lines, going super high up. There's no need to do that because these cycles are always the same. So if you just follow this line here, where you're like barely going up, but pretty much just going straight right, you just go above this tree and just kind of hold this line the whole time. The only thing you have to worry about is like you don't want to be too low so that you attract this guy, but you kind of want to come in I'm a little bit high here. You kind of want to come in just under these trash cans. So a little bit lower than I am here. Because you also want to make sure you avoid this fountain up here. If you go too high, you'll trigger the fountain. That'll mess up the fountain warp. So like I said, I went a little bit high here. You want to kind of get a little bit lower, but generally that line. And you got to talk to everybody. 6, 6, 8, and then just mash on these text boxes. And this is probably, I think it's my only mistake of the run. I think I messed up something else too, but I messed up this fight. Lost like 10 seconds. Because this is the newer chrono strat. Very annoyed with myself. But hey, I got the sub 50 anyway, so we're all good. Yeah, so now the clock is low. So yeah, the optimal strat is you do a whoops attack here with Pumpkin. Just to get that guy down a little bit in health, the clock. And then optimally, you would get an amazing hit here with Robot. I did not, so he's left with 9 health. But I was stupid and wasn't thinking. And I then just did a whoops. Because I'm like, oh, he's so low, I'll get it. You don't do 9 damage with a whoops hit. So that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. But that did, I guess, save me a little bit because part of kind of your mid-game routing is getting this first special all the way up. And I'll kind of explain that when we get to the Bojin fight. But just know I was stupid here. And that's one of the only mistakes in the run. Yeah, so now we master that text and we want to hit this guy. We're going to do a fountain warp all the way back to the start of the Bayou. And I kind of explained that in the any percent tutorial, but when you run away from a fight, you'll go back to the last fountain you were nearest to. And because we avoid all the fountains, the last fountain you're nearest to was the very first one. So that's where you get to respawn. And this is the fun part where you get to see my mashing. Look at how fast I'm going. And again, you see me holding a direction right when I'm done with the text. I'm ready to go. So no delay. Also, I'm holding left trigger the whole time, which is how you skate. But there's no skating in this part. It's just habit. Yeah, again, this is just more mashing. I'll kind of skip through this. Blah, blah, blah. Also, again, the black screen here while it's loading. You can still mash the text. It's like that in a lot of places in the game. So just make sure you're mashing the whole time. And this section is all about your nice, clean lines. So you can hit these desk from the front to grab your costume pieces. Line wasn't amazing. You want to go a bit more of an angle, but it's whatever. Go here, open this chest up. You go out the door and just top right and bottom right. You get to open this chest. And then if you talk to this guy with diplomacy, you'll skip talking to him because normally you have to talk to an NPC and then use diplomacy on him. This guy, you can just talk to him with diplomacy from the get-go. Okay, and this right here, because you're kind of stuck in this animation. So I have bound my up on the D-pad to be my creepy treat card menu. So you can see me hitting this. So that way, as soon as I can, I've opened the menu. Because I'll see some people just kind of sitting here and waiting and not like ready to do anything. So I'm sitting here tapping that button. I'm ready. Instantly equip Frostbites. And also I equip Frostbites for this Fruit Flakes card. Because you always have Nubbins and Suckums. And then this card here is just whatever the first one you got from a battle was. So in this case, it's Fruit Flakes. Sometimes it's Ghost Month. Sometimes it's others that I can't think of right now. But yeah, so I'll just replace whatever this card is with Frostbites. And then as soon as I'm done with that, I open the character menu and we go Pterodactyl, Pumpkin, and then used to be Superhero, but it is Jefferson now. Because Jefferson does more damage than the non-upgraded Superhero. So this fight is very boring, but I'll go ahead and explain everything as well. So I kind of talked about earlier, you want this special meter to be full. In normal circumstance, the only way for this to get full is if Bojim hits you one time. And that is a more rare thing than you would imagine. But because I messed up the chrono fight, that's not actually a worry because I got enough from there, so I don't actually have to get hit by Bojum. So I mean, it is what it is. But this fight can go a little bit faster with the more amazings that you hit, because you want to aim for finishing this fight on Pumpkin's turn. Sometimes it can bleed over into Jefferson's turn. It's a little bit more difficult now that we don't have the upgraded superhero, but it's still about the same difficulty. So not a huge deal. Doesn't really lose you anything. So yeah, I used Pumpkin special, and then I used Frostbites on Pumpkin and used the special again. So we're good to go there. These other 2 special meters don't matter. We don't, even if they are full, which is not possible, we don't end up using them at all. And then just get as many amazings as we can so we can have Pumpkin finish off the fight. Yeah, 122. That'll be, Pumpkin should be able to finish it off. Optimally, you want to be able to have him just hit one time here, so like no combo hit, just get it on the first hit, which I managed to do in this fight. And then this fight is the first one. If you don't know Smoochies, you at this point in where the world record is optimized, you have to have Smoochies to PB. That, at least for me, or to get a world record. That is it. You have to have Smoochies. So you get it from 3 places. You get it from Bojum, you get it from Ophirion, you get it from the second Chrono fight. That's it. That's the only places you get it from. So, yeah, I'd just like to point that out. So we got Jumping Beans. 0 for 1. That's fine. We come over here and get the Hide and Seek Kid. It saves a little bit of time because it didn't really waste that much to get the Hide and Seek Kids, but it saves a good bit of time in some of the fights in the last part of the game. So we still get it. It's not, it doesn't actually save that much time to skip it, even if you didn't lose any time anywhere. So here's another place where I blow the leaves away, and while I'm waiting for the leaves to disappear, I swap to the Jefferson costume because that's the one I'll need next. And then I go up here, talk to this guy, talk to Sadie. Yeah, good mashing there. I guess I'll kind of point out what I'm looking for. This guy, I'm looking for him to say Chicano or whatever the Chaco Nana. That, oh yeah, that's what it is. So I'm kind of looking for that, and then I stop talking to him. And then for Sadie, I'm looking for that I think. So you saw the I think right there. Let's see if I can get it paused on there. I think, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Then the second one's a little more difficult. I'm kind of looking for the kids to talk again, because there's 2 text boxes there, and we go up. And now there is a faster strat for Auburn Pines. This one wasn't great in my PB here, but this is just the slower strat, which is a couple of seconds slower, but I don't feel the need to go over it. This one I really struggled to get up. This one, I don't know why I've been having such trouble with this lately. I don't remember. I barely got this in time because the snails turned around. This is the problem. Because usually you want to be over here and wait for the snail, and once the snail turns around, you go get the chest. So I should already be at the chest right now. Luckily, I get it right there, and look how close this is. So you don't have a whole lot of time because the way you get out of here is you'll go up, you'll open the chest, and you'll just wall right up. And this is a pretty easy wall ride, fortunately. But once the snail turns around, you have maybe another second or 2 to get up and out. And so fortunately I got this first try, but if I struggled on that at all, I would have had problems. So no, again, swap to that, and then you can actually blow the leaves from this side. So it saves you a little bit of time. Again, another animation cancel, so I can be ready to run through the leaves. Pretty much anytime I use the pterodactyl leaf blowing ability, I'm always animation canceling. And then this, you want to be careful because you're using pterodactyl. It's very easy to accidentally hit B one too many times on skipping these cutscenes for these doors. So I try to make sure I'm mashing X as well, so you can see it here. Yeah, hit X just in case I hit it one too many times. I did not mean to go behind the chest here. Yeah, then you go down. Go to this one. Remember, there's a little extra text box here you need to make sure you skip. And then we get to go talk to this guy. And then normally, on the normal cycle, this guy would be over here and he would just turn around. But because I had a little bit of trouble over in the snail area, he's now 1 cycle slower. So I got to just wait and go behind him on the right side. So a little bit slower, and I missed the ramp as well. So that's why I think this is, again, I had a misplay in Chrono where I lost 10. I probably lost close to 10. Well, maybe not 10, but 7 seconds here to just not playing this very well. Yeah, that was a bad line too. And then this one with Sadie, because you're going to level up, you don't need to worry about mashing too many times. So I go ahead and just skip through. I messed this up too. This just wasn't great. Typically, you want to hold B about here when you get on the steps, but I waited way too long. Yeah, you can see I was well after that. So that was unfortunate, but just, you know, because this pace isn't anything amazing, you know. I don't know how many runs I've gotten that are better than this, but it's no crazy pace here. You go up the ladder, especially because I don't have smoochies yet. Very early split, but this is a gold east side, so this is very good. Yeah, so we start by going to this guy. We switch to Jefferson, because if you talk to this guy first rather than this guy over here, he only has 3 text boxes. So talk to him, and then we go up. And then this is an interesting strat. So you open the chest, and normally you want to wall ride, but I found that if you hold W and D on the keyboard, which is exactly upright, you'll wall ride 100% of the time. So you don't need to worry about like consistency on this one. It's super easy. Also, obviously you have to be holding shift as well, but you'll see there's no more inputs here for me going up because I'm using my keyboard. And then while I'm falling, I'll switch to my controller. Then we go talk to this guy. Another interesting thing, the way these guys work, so you talk to him normally, right? And then you'll talk to him with diplomacy. But if you mash too much, then, or I guess after you talk to him with diplomacy, he'll fade out and he'll move over right here. So they're kind of like moving the model. And you're not supposed to be able to talk to him, obviously, because he's moving. You'll talk to him after, but not like in the midst of it. But there's a brief moment in time where it's still fading out, but you can talk to him again. So because you talk to him again, that means you're kind of stuck in place. So you don't want to mash too much here. And I believe I did it well here. I mashed exactly what I needed to, and I could, which means that I could actually move a little bit during this fade to black. So you can hear it. I'm moving in the darkness, which is how helped me gold. But this is a animation cancel that saves a good amount of time, because you need to blow these leaves away to get the, I believe it's the costume pattern for the Pharaoh. So you blow the trash away, you animation cancel, and you're able to get over to this hide and seek kid and talk to him. So that's very fast. Kind of overlap some of the animations. And this is another one. I'm blowing this stuff away. I need to have Jefferson, so I switch to Jefferson while I'm waiting. And also, if you use diplomacy on this guy first, instead of talking to him, only has 1 text box. And then I found this angle in a second of this. It's almost like it's more up left than you want to think it is. Super fast. Not instant, because I had the little, like, it went down and then up again. But very, very fast. Okay, and then something I want to point out with this kind of the line you want to take. So obviously you want to stay here. But after you go to this house, it's easy just to hold down right, and you'll actually end up going up these stairs and then falling. But falling is slower, so you want to make sure when you go up these stairs, or sorry, you want to make sure you don't go up these stairs. You kind of want to hold down and then kind of curve around, which is difficult to do because of you start moving in this darkness here. But unfortunately, I almost got the angle, but I fell off the side, which is fine, but something you want to kind of avoid. And this is a cool strat. So similar to what I talked about earlier with that first guy, where you can actually talk to him as he's disappearing. Similar strategy here, but this one saves more time. So you talk to this guy normally and use diplomacy on him, and then after you talk to him for the last time in this fade out, you can mash your face into this corner, and then you'll go to this house. You know you did it right when you see that little fade out there. And then you get to go up and get the last piece of the Pharaoh costume. And kind of want to hit the left side of the chest here. You're closer to this, and then just hook a left and head on down. Another part is want to stay on this right side, or I guess from the character's perspective, left. But you want to stay on this side so you don't accidentally trigger the mole. So I kind of hit that side and face towards the camera just to avoid that. And don't east side. Look at that nice gold. Talk to that guy. Go back over here. And this is another instance of switching your costume while you're waiting for something. This one's not as obvious. But while you're waiting for the door to open, you can switch to the Jefferson costume very quickly. Talk to this guy. Again, you're looking just for, like, I think of... You go talk to this guy. And with these stairs, you want to kind of take large, wide angles. Because it's very easy for this wizard, or whoever's last in your party, to get stuck underneath these stairs. Or, like, on this staircase as well. But if you go wide, then it's easier for the wizard to follow behind. So, yeah. Otherwise, they'll get stuck, and when you talk to this, then he'll be slowly dragged up through the collision to get into this spot. You can kind of see how he moves slowly there. I'll show it again. Like, see how wizard moves slowly after you interact with the ladder? He would do that all the way from the bottom up, and very slow. But here we go. Talk to Shady. You want to make sure you use diplomacy on him first, and then you can buy the superhero upgrade and sour dumps. And at this point in the run, after you've talked to that house, you want to make sure you have about 850 candy. So because of the buying superheroes costume later, you're actually a little bit short most of the time, but a lot of trash bags around. There's also some candy up top. So you want to make sure you're around 850, or if you go up to the next house, you want to be around 900. So you're going to see me getting a good bit of extra candy here. But it's fine, because normally we're just waiting on that patrol anyway. So you're not actually wasting any time here. Kind of candy up there. I'm a little, like, 10 short. I need a little bit more candy. And we'll run over here. And you also want to make sure, if you are too early, this guy will be waiting here and facing this direction. So if you go down these steps, he'll catch you. So you just want to make sure you don't move down here until he's already moved past. So I'm about at the candy amount I need to be. I'll get a little bit extra just in case. And then go to this house. And then go up and wait for this patrol. There's nearing the end. So there's two strats here. The strat I go for is I kind of wait for this guy to get past this little corner and pretty much stopped. And then I will kind of creep around, hug this corner, and then skip past him. Otherwise, you have to wait for him to turn around and slower. It also helps with this cycle. Because if you have to wait any longer, then this guy will get in the way. You'll have to wait for him as well. So, a little strap. You could also see me switching costumes earlier rather than later for when I need them. So, like right here, I switched to the Pharaoh costume a little bit before I needed it. Switched to Jefferson to talk to that. And this is a very easy costume switch here, because you can just hold right for the clown costume. Pretty easy. You get the last use of the clown horn in the run. Okay, now it's time for Downtown Skip. That probably should have a better name, but it's accurate. So you go to this house, and while I'm in this dark screen here, I will hit the menu button. So as soon as I'm out of the menu, or out of that little loading screen, I'll have this menu pop up. And so something else I've seen people not doing a whole lot. They menu through this very slowly. But I found out because you start on this how to play little button right here. But if you hit up, then you'll overflow back down to the bottom. So it's like a wraparound. So if you hit up, you'll go down to the bottom. So instead of going 1, 2, 3 down, you go 1, 2 up. So it's a little bit faster. It's especially faster for here though, because you start here, and then it's 1, 2 up. You hit advanced rather than 1, 2, 3, 4 down. And this one is same as well. You go up to wrap around to the bottom. You turn off 30 hertz. So you change it as or turn off 60 hertz. So you change it to 30 FPS. And then as soon as I do exactly the same thing. As soon as I get on top of this thing. And then I kind of want to aim. I'll show it again. I want to aim straight down here, because you'll land on some other collision. You'll end up falling a little bit less. It's kind of weird, but it saves a little bit of time. It's also a better line. Well, so then we go talk to this guy, and then we'll go head to Ophirion, which is not an interesting fight at all, but I'll explain it anyway. So we go talk to him, just mash through because you're going to level up, so there's no more talking to do. Then we go Pumpkin Jefferson Superhero Switch, add sour dumps to our card collection, and we start the fight. So my goal is a 229, my PB got a 233, and I think this gets like a 245 or something. That's because there is a fast cycle. If you get enough amazing hits, then you'll do enough damage that you don't have to go to the next turn. But I'm going to use Suckums here. So I'll use Suckums, then I'll use Sour Dumps, and then I'll use Jefferson Special. And that's for one specific reason. And that's because we're trying our best to get our costume, or our special meters built up as much as possible. And so by doing that, and I use my special on the very first turn, if I get hit here, which I do, he's going to attack Jefferson. That means he's got a little bit of a special meter built up. It's not a lot, but it kind of adds up when you're fairly close. If I hadn't have done that, then that special meter would have just gone to waste. So it's not a huge chance it's even going to be helpful, but in the event it does, it doesn't waste any time. In the event it does, it's very helpful. So we don't end up using Superhero Special just because we're saving that for the Chrono fight. Because otherwise, if we didn't save that special, we would not be able to fill up any of our special meters for the Chrono fight. So we lose a bit of time here in Ophirion, but we save a lot of time in the Chrono fight. So I'm just going to skip through. Just regular hits. We're hoping our special meters get filled. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't get the fast cycle here. But it is helpful because it does get Pumpkin's special meter built up a little bit. Not only did he get hit there, but he also gets to hit Ophirion. DC, I lose about 15 seconds. And this is the game changer right here. So I'm about to turn on Mike in my PB, which I'm going to have to talk over, which is a little bit annoying, but that's besides the point. Game changer right here, Smoochies. Like I said earlier, you cannot get a world record without Smoochies at this point, because it just makes the end game so quick. This PB had my fastest end game ever by like 30 seconds. And that previous end game was really fast too. So there's basically no mistakes, no time losses in this entire end game from here on out. So the Smoochies is massive. And like I said, there's only 3 chances to get it. You get it from Bojim, you get it from Ophirion, and you get it from the second Chrono fight. So that's it. I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I'm going to start talking. You can see my PB. I actually lost a little over 20 seconds here in the in this Chrono split. That's because I had some unfortunate. Another one. Shut up. Like 4 Shut up, Bob. I've gotten Smoochies on. That is right. This is. I think it was 3 runs in a row. Getting Smoochies in a run is not super common. It's not like uncommon, but it's not super common either. And this is my 3rd run in a row. This was my first run of the day to get this far. And the previous day, I'd only done 2 runs, and both those runs had gotten Smoochies. And that's when I got a 50-28 and a 50-31. Like, a minute I can lose from here on out? Nah, that ain't happening. Yeah, I was not confident this was going to be sub 50. How good my escort gold is. Unless I gold that again. So but this is snail skip here. So I end up getting both of those chests there because thing then, because you have to wait for the snail anyway to do snail skip. So you might as well get both of those chests while you're waiting. So it's a little bit of task overlap. And then you get to change into the ghost costume. And then so you need 1,350 candy to get the Jefferson upgrade. Managed to get that just barely, a little like 28 extra candy there. So this is a specific line I take. I should oh yeah, let me actually re-explain something. I kind of glossed over it. This is a pretty specific cycle, so you want to make sure you hit these, you have very good lines here, otherwise you're gonna mess it up. In the normal snail skip cycle, you just get this chest. From here on out. Nah, that ain't happening. And then you go right around to this. Yeah, and then you line up with this. I'm not gonna explain snail skip. I mean, that's not what this run is for. But this run, or this, so you want to take this line underneath this car, kind of aim for bashing your head into like the top of this hedge. So you're gonna get a little text box here. But because I run through the like as close as I can get without going into the ghost mode, which is slow, it ends up being faster anyway. So then for this fight, we use a different layout than some of the other fights. So I'm looking here. I know my specials are going to be good, so I'm not too worried. But the reason we use a different layout here is because it's possible to one-shot this tech enemy with Jefferson. But if you miss an amazing, you don't get it. So it's like, it's not really worth the risk of not switching your costumes. And because we have Wizard able to do splash damage, he's able to take out that guy who's got like 10 health left or whatever. So I do a whoops hit here because I'm not worried about my specials at all. And I know if I do a whoops hit, then Wizard will be able to one-shot him. He won't need to do a combo hit. So it's a little bit faster. And then I switch my costumes. I have keep Jefferson first and then Superhero and Pumpkin. Switch. The only card I need to add to my hand is Nubbins. This could be a good split. And then here, I am just hoping and praying I do not get frozen. Because if you get frozen, it really, really messes up the fight. You lose at minimum like 40 or like 20 seconds. Yeah, and at worst, probably about 40. Last time I went to Chrono, so he's not going to time freeze me, right? Yeah, my previous run, I got time frozen twice and really, really got messed up. So again, I'm not really going to explain this fight. I mean, I assume you know how to do it already. But, yeah, so we use Nubbins on Superhero, use 2 of his specials, so he does a lot of damage. And then with Pumpkin, we do an extra attack. We'll do a whoops attack with Jefferson here because I know that Superhero will be able to tech out Chrono regardless of if Jefferson does any damage, so we just kind of want to move past that hit. I think if I had gotten an amazing... Okay, no. So, I couldn't have one-shot it anyway, but... Close. Yeah, good Chrono. And I golded. Yup. 328. So now I'm looking at my BBT. I'm like, you know, I can lose a minute here. It's not looking amazing because it's very hard to go through both Escort and Lab without losing a minute total. Also, like even with smoochies, I mean, things can just go wrong. You got to still get pretty lucky. And obviously I do. So for this first fight, you want to make sure you have smoochies equipped because going into the second fight, you want to make sure you have all your specials. God, this one sucks. This is not the fight I wanted to see. This is one of the worst ones you can have. Maybe the worst, because they're all monster enemies. They're slow. They're annoying to deal with. So I'm going to use Suckums to just speed it up a little bit. I'm going to focus this Grub and Guard, who has more health, just because it wouldn't really make any difference if I attacked him or the one with lower health, because they would both die. So might as well go after the guy with more health. Another thing to kind of note is I'm attacking the Grub and Guards, and not the Trobog Guard. Because the Trobot Guard has a very quick attack animation. The Grub Guard has a very slow attack animation, as I'm sure you can see just compared to each other right there. So I want to make sure I take out the guards, the Grub Guards, just so they don't attack me anymore. And this fight would be over here if I didn't have to use Smoochies. So Smoochies obviously is the card that refreshes all of your special meters after you win the fight. Just this fight alone kills gold. Yeah, this fight was not great.
But this fight's always the slowest one, so I can just hope.
And I got jelly beaks,
Jelly beaks.
so very nice there.
Sour
And the equip sour dump. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to use my first 2 specials just to get through this fight.
This one
Again,
again.
I got
Can we
that
stop doing
same
this?
fight again. I don't like that. It's very slow.
I'd rather have the magic enemies. Magic enemies are so much faster.
Yeah, like I said, magic enemies are what you kind of want to see just because they're much quicker to go through. But fortunately, because I used 2 specials, this was pretty quick anyway. And I'm about to use sour dumps, so I'll have all 3 of my specials going into the next fight as well. And then we get to just finish this guy off 1 turn later than if we didn't use sour dumps. So overall, not bad there. I mean, I'll take it. And there I switched to make sure I had nubbins and frostbites in my hand. Nubbins isn't ready, but we're gonna end up using that in the next fight.
Oh, that's big.
This is huge right here. I can't explain how important this is.
big.
Yeah, past Bob knows. But the reason this fight is so
This is the
important to have
best fight to have
one enemy. Shut
on.
up, Bob. Shut up. The reason this fight's so important to have 1 enemy in is because I can 1 cycle this fight and I won't have to use any specials, which means I will have 2 specials to use in the next fight and then also 2 to use in the last fight because I'll get to use frostbites. So that is huge. If I didn't have that, I'd have to use 1 or 2 specials
Oh
there,
my god.
and then I'd have to use 1 or 2 specials in the next fight,
Oh,
and then I wouldn't have as
gosh,
you're essentially just spreading it out. And then I got 1 enemy in this fight too, which is even more important. It's ridiculous. That completely turned this escort split around, because now I don't have to worry about using frostbites at all. So going into the next fight, I know I have to use smoochies, and I know I also have nubbins as well.
equipped.
So I have all of the costumes or all the cards I need.
That really
I don't remember what
matters is-
enemies I get here. Yeah. So what I'll end up doing is I'll use pumpkin special and then superhero
That's
special.
Crazy.
I'll use it on the Trobog guard because it's going to take out the magic enemy by splash damage anyway. Then I'll use smoochies just because I need to make sure I use it before the end of the fight.
Wild. I don't think he one-shots this. I'm just gonna get a whoops.
Yeah, I don't think this I would have been able to take out the operative in 1 hit, but
That's
I did a whoops just to make it a little bit faster.
I don't have peepers
And then
yet,
that
but it's
is
fine.
a crazy good escort for considering how bad the first part was. So going into lab, I have all 3 of my specials. I need to make sure I use sour dumps in this
Like
fight.
I did the last time I was in
This fight's always the same.
Perfect.
And also using or having magic enemies is really what you want to use or what you want to have in these fights. So magic enemies are much quicker to take out. I'm just hoping I don't get villain penicillin there. It's great, I don't. So I get to use sour dumps. This is the last fight you can use it on before Dr. White. And you take him out here very quick. I know right now, like, okay, this is looking to be pretty good because the lab is pretty consistent. When you have
Don't need to switch any cards.
lab's pretty consistent when you have smooth.
I have the ones I need equipped already.
But it can still go wrong. I had a run the previous day where I lost a minute in lab just because I was stupid and misplayed the 3rd fight. So yeah, though I'll explain kind of what I do here. So yeah, use pumpkin obviously to cut everybody's health in half. Then you use superhero to it'll completely kill this chemist and it'll leave the other chemist pretty low health. So then you've got Jefferson that's able to just take out that chemist, even though he's not
Remember
strong to
switch
magic.
Costumes this time.
Yeah, I forgot to switch costumes in that 3rd fight. But I'm using frostbites here, and that's because I know Pumpkin's not going to be able to take out this guy. So I might as well kind of push that along a little bit. So I want to have frostbites on Pumpkin so he can have his special going into fight number 3. And then we'll do a whoops attack here. Okay, I didn't do a whoops because I was afraid that Jefferson wasn't going to do enough damage. So just for safety, I didn't do a whoops attack. But I should have been able to
Switch
do one there.
costumes right after this.
The reason you want to switch costumes is because there is, except for boss fights, there is never a time that I am ever going to use Jefferson's special. Jefferson's special, it's not bad. It's just not as good as the other 2. So I will always make sure I swap my costume. So for this last fight, also I didn't need to do that with the ghost there. I was just scared. For this last fight, so I'll equip Smoochies just so I don't have to do it for the next fight. I have Nubbins equipped. I don't have Peepers yet though, so I can't use Nubbins. So that makes it a little bit slower.
I don't have Peepers, so I can't use Nubbins here.
Thank you, Bob.
Oh my god.
This was big. So I'm gonna use Pumpkin Special just to cut his health in half, and then just gonna attack normally. If I'd got a normal 3 enemy fight, would have been a lot slower. So that was really important too. Getting that could have killed the sub 50. And then I got Peepers, so I'm like, okay, I'm good for the last fight. I'm chilling. Okay, and then also with this last fight, the way it kind of works, because you have to use Smoochies. Normally, you use 3 attacks to take out this chemist, and then you use 3 attacks to take out the technician. But if you have to use Smoochies in there somewhere, then that means you're going to have to actually end up taking a 3rd turn. Instead of just getting like turn 1, take out this guy, turn 2, take out this guy. But when you have the special ready, then you're doing a lot better. And because I have Peepers, I can use Nubbins now. And I thought like, okay, well I can, Superhero can one-shot this guy. I'm like, I don't actually know if she can. So just in case, I'm going to attack.
Just in case.
Just because like I wasn't really risking anything to attack. And I really, really wanted to make sure that she could one-shot. And so at this point, I know like, yeah, it's got enough health. He can one-shot. And so now Superhero still has Nubbins equipped. Or Nubbins active, I guess. So she'll do twice as much damage. Normally, it would be a little bit close here, but...
I'm so nervous.
Yeah, at this point in the run, I know this is sub 50. Because I know it's about 45 seconds, I think, from this fade out. Maybe 50, I don't remember entirely. Maybe it's closer to 40, something like that. But I know I haven't started losing time yet. So I know this is going to be about a 4-minute time.
Please, I don't know.
So I know that's like, 20 at most off of my my goal. So I'm just doing the math. Like I know this is
my building's water just got shut off.
Yeah, it actually didn't apparently. That was a wrong text, but that's besides the point.
Interesting.
So yeah, at this point, I know this is the sub 50. As long as I don't screw anything up right at the end, I know I'm good. I'm getting very excited. That was a super, super clutch escort lab. That's my first ever sub 8 minutes escort lab. 350 escort, 402 lab. That is crazy.
Oh my god. Okay, don't mess anything up. Do not mess anything up.
Yeah, that was just...
Don't be stupid.
That was my thoughts. Don't do anything stupid. You know what you're doing. Okay, so from here, you want to make sure you use the light stick. I see some people flash it. Don't flash the light. Flashing it only gives you a chance to mess it up. I like to hold
like
mine.
20 seconds to play with.
Maybe a half second, maybe a second. Not even. Like, look how short I hold it for. And then I break the 2 trash bags and then run up the thing. We go run over. We get to talk to Oral. Not a whole lot of optimal things to do here.
This is crazy. I can't believe it.
Yeah, this is just me getting excited because I like I said, I know this is it. I know I've gotten sub 50. Which kind of makes the pop off at the end a little bit less exciting. Oh, also my favorite Easter egg. Just watch this guy here. And where the dude wearing the skeleton costume. He's dead. Anyway, ignore that. Yeah, so I know I have to lose 25 seconds in these last 2 splits. I know that's not happening unless I mess up the Dr. White fight.
You cannot celebrate yet. It's not done yet.
So yeah, go over to here. You're about to have some cutscene to mash through, all that stuff. This section is a little bit weird because you have to be good at like the timing of your mashing and stuff. So this is just a fully a thing of just experience helps so much when knowing the kind of timing to when to hit these guys. So I'd like to point out, there's actually it's hard to tell. Yeah, there's a little cardboard cutout thing here. But if you go behind it, you can actually still access the house. That's cool. You can do that over here too. I think, where is it? I think it's the next one. You can do it on this one too. It's just a little bit more finicky. So I choose to avoid that. Yeah, so all these lines are pretty deliberate, trying to avoid everything. All the mashing is very deliberate as well. And we run over here, got the last piece. And also, like, I'm preemptively running away from each house in the direction I know I need to go in. Just to save that extra little bit of time. I mean, you do that on 12 houses or whatever it is, and save a second on each, that's 12 seconds. Twist costumes to the Pharaoh, swing across. And then I know the costume order, I know the card order. It's also very important if you put the cards in the same order every time, so it's Sour Dumps, Peepers, then Jellybeaks, then you can afford to really, really quickly play all your cards in the Dr. White fight.
Oh my god.
So this is it. This is the Dr. White fight. I made a whole tutorial on this, so I'm not really going to explain this too much. Turn the volume up a little bit again. But it's just there's a lot of, every time I'm like switching to use my cards or switching to use my special ability, I'm always using the D-pad because you have a chance of not stick drift,
No mistakes.
snap
no
back
misplays.
if you try to move too quickly with a joystick, so I don't
Lock
ever use
in.
that. A couple things here. I'll actually let me go back quickly.
Plays.
So you see here, you can get a whoops
No
here
mistakes.
with this
no
pumpkin attack,
misplays.
and then you use the special, and then it'll
Lock
end up
in.
taking out the pick anyway. And if you get an amazing hit here, then you don't have to use your combo. Other than that, that's pretty much all of the optimization, other than just knowing how to do the route. But I was very, very happy with this time, very excited to get this time sub 50. So I'm now retired from any percent. I might do New Game Plus just because that time kind of sucks now, but very, very excited, very happy where I've been able to bring this time down to. So again, shoutouts to Death and Harsh, of course, who remotivated me back in 2023 to start playing this game seriously again. Been very supportive over the last 2 years. Found a lot of strats, found a lot of skips, glitches, all that kind of stuff.
Oh man, I can't believe it.
So thanks for those two guys. Also thanks to Echo for revitalizing my motivation again in like January or whenever she started playing. I wouldn't have been able to get sub 50 now if it wasn't for her.
There it is. Oh my god.
Okay, Bob. It's not that serious, man.
Yes,
Shut up, buddy. But yeah, that's it for me. So this is my cool reaction video. Ooh, look at how big I am. How tiny I am now. Woo. Anyway, yeah, make sure you go check out the actual world record. You don't have to watch it all, but you know, you can give it a little thumbs up button. That'll be on the end screen here and also in the description. But again, yeah, just thanks to the community for being so awesome and for supporting me, supporting everybody else. You guys are great. But that's the end of me for any percent, maybe ever, maybe for a long time. Who knows? It's hard to tell what the future has in store for me. But I would like to say that I'm looking forward to hopefully somebody beating my PB one day and reclaiming the world record of their own. So, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.